Welcome to the Spark Report. John W. Davis and Pavi. What's going on, Pav? How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
Um, I'm fine. I guess I'm fine. The end of another season. Um,
Yes, definitely an end of another
the
season.
end of a
It
season.
ends to the same team. This
Same
time,
team,
not a three-game sweep, a
not a
single
3 game
elimination,
single
but
elimination.
still the same franchise. Different players on the court, but the same franchise.
Is this a
I would
rivalry now? Rivalry.
rivalries have to go both ways.
Fair. I
It's
guess they
something,
just.
but rivalries have to go both ways.
It's a contest
Yes,
at the
it is a
moment.
contest,
Contest
definitely.
at the moment.
It is a contest, and the Connecticut Sun can only get better because
This is
John
true.
Quill Jones is coming back.
So this is true.
Now, the
Um,
Sparks, you could say the Sparks can only get better because Christy Tolliver is under contract, and hopefully Janae comes back, and Maria Vadiva's under contract. So you could say that. But the Sparks have some free agency. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a whole show down the line. But
mm,
if we just talk specifically about this game, I would say the person who played 40 minutes and who had 20 some points and about 15 rebounds and almost 5 assists, I would honestly absolve her of this.
no, yeah,
Candice Parker,
yeah.
I'm not giving Candice Parker any blame. She played every single game. She played the most minutes pretty much every game when they needed her. And she literally did not come off the court. There was no excuse. Her and Derek Fisher were on the same page. There wasn't going to be any of that. What happened last year, you're going to be out there the whole time and you're going to get your chance.
Nah, yeah. Candace, when I watched that game, I just felt like Candace. She left like when people talk about leaving it all on the court, yeah, she
Yes.
left it all on the court. Like even from I thought that I was tweeting during the game. I felt like everybody outside of her just looked like they didn't have it
Right.
yesterday. They just looked kind of like out of it. I don't know if it was a late scratch from NECA, but everybody just looked like, or maybe the season caught up to them. Everybody
She
looked
even
kind of
made
out
her
of
free throws. I mean, there's the stat line: 40 minutes, 22 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. She only had 2 fouls, only had 1 turnover, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, which was her Achilles heel the whole season. She was shooting in the low 70%. So she made her free throws. She attacked the basket. She got enough shots from the field. And when she didn't make the shots and didn't get the and ones, she was getting to the free throw line and she was making her free throws.
Yeah,
I don't know what else she could have done.
I thought the one constant all game was Candace. Even just from a leadership perspective, when they're down
Mhm.
17, she's calling everybody over like, yo, like come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I just think that takes leadership. She could have easily, you get down big 20 in one of those games, especially after a season like this, you can easily pack it in. Like, you know what, hey, we already down big. I don't mind going to the crib anyway. But no, she didn't do that. She kept everybody together. She was on the court leading, not also with her play, but just by her words. Like I kept seeing her trying to, galvanize the ladies. It wasn't, I don't know if it was falling on deaf ears. I don't know what it was, but it didn't really work. But she was trying, So I don't have any shout out to Candace. I don't have anything bad to say about her performance. She did everything she could.
Well, when you look at it, so everybody who played in the game, and Rashonda Gray played a minute, but I'm not going to count her. But so if you go down the roster, Sykes had been hurt in the last couple of weeks. Anigwe, she was fine the whole season. Parker was fine the whole season. Sydney Weiss just coming back from an ankle. Chelsea Gray was in a walking boot. She didn't want to talk about it. And after the season, she finally admitted to me that, like, yeah, I was dealing with injuries. And there were points in the game where I thought, I could have came out, but my competitive spirit wouldn't let me come out. We'll get into Chelsea Gray's performance later, but Chelsea Gray had some sort of ailments, not officially on the injury report, but yes, Raquana Williams had that knee that was constantly in her mind. Tierra Ruffin Pratt had that shoulder. Simone Augustus was just constant maintenance, but she didn't necessarily have anything. And Taya Cooper. So if you look at that, there's 4 out of the 9 players who were like tip top healthy.
Yeah,
Not an excuse, but
like I said, I just
I mean, I said the healthiest team was going to win. And like between the two of them, Connecticut's Sun were healthier than the Sparks. They beat them.
kind of sort of like not really, but kind of sort of. I mean, apparently Jasmine Thomas is dealing with plantar fasciitis, which is
But Jasmine
wild,
Thomas
dangerous.
got a game off. They didn't give Chelsea Gray a game off. Maybe they should have gave Chelsea Gray a game off during
I
the end of
mean,
the season.
yeah, but plantar fasciitis seems like you can get somebody a game off, but like from what I've heard about plantar fasciitis,
No,
plantar
it lingers
unless you
for a
just
long
sit
time.
down and not gonna play, like it's just gonna hurt. I
I
mean,
understand.
Alyssa had bad shoulders forever,
Right?
So I just feel like the season just may have caught up. I mean, I don't know what it was, but it's like
It did catch up. That's what I'm saying. It caught up with them
also
injury wise. I think number
also
one.
I think NECA just not being there,
Speak on
maybe
it.
maybe just took like the air out of him a little bit. Obviously, she's one of your leaders, on the court. Also, she's one of your best players. And I think Candice said that they had an idea that she might not play. I think seeing it officially on the, the injury report, knowing that you're going into a playoff game without one of your big guns, kind of just takes the air out of you a little bit.
Yeah, but you know what I'm about to say, right?
What's up?
You finish my phrase, what I'm about to say about NECA. Tell it to me.
She's the real MVP.
Thank you. Yes, this proves it. This proves it right here. They cannot, maybe you can set up a team down the line where you don't have her, okay, because it's free agency and things like that. But the 2020 team could not win without her. Yeah, they almost beat the Storm. Okay, but no. She is the most efficient, effective player on the team. It's her and Candice Parker back and forth.
I think that they could have won a game, but this is just if let's say she had the back.
It was too much.
Let's say she has the back and she's out for the season. She's not coming back.
Yes,
that's a different type of mind state of just mindset on the team. But when she's scratched right before the game, it takes the air out of you a little bit.
It does, and then
I'm gonna keep it took the air out of me watching it. I'm like, oh, NECA not playing. Oh well. And I'm a fan. I'm just, sitting there just watching the game. It took the air out of me. I'm logging on, my homie, because I'm watching, the Boston game. My homie texts me yo, NECA not playing. I'm like, NECA not playing. What's wrong with NECA? They migraine. I'm like, oh, well. And that's just me watching it. So I can only imagine them, obviously, they mad at inkling, but still, you're probably hopeful that, maybe she can get it going. Then you get there, you all dressed up, and they're like, well, she not playing. It's like, all right, damn.
NECA is the captain of the team. She is the leader. Yes, Candice Parker is a leader in her own right, but there is a reason Nneka Ogwumike is the captain of his team. And when she's not out there for you, and then you have Sydney Weiss coming back, and kudos to Sydney Weiss for coming back. And yes, Sydney Weiss, she was healthy enough to run and walk and, get in the pool and whatever, but not to guard. Not to guard people.
They made
not when she was already struggling beforehand, and then she came back, and you could tell she was, I won't say a whole half a step slow, but maybe like a third of a step, and that just wasn't going to cut it. She has to get better on defense, and for her to be even slower, no, that wasn't going to work. But she had to be out there because she got decent looks from three, and if maybe she would have made some of those, that could have helped. So I understand why she wanted to play. She is a team first player. Same with CRP. That's why I was telling you, don't believe the hype that they weren't going to play, because I saw how Sydney Weiss's rehab was going. I saw that she was going to be able to lace up her sneakers and play. Now, how she played, that's how she played. Same with TRP. How she played, that's how she played. TRP even had the confidence to take the shots that were open. Did they go in? No.
Yeah, I was like, that's not going in. But
but that's what I was tweeting during the game. She has to take those shots. They're wide open. Yeah. You have to take the shots.
You mess up the offense when you don't.
Right.
You pass a wide open shots, you just make things funky.
But if we have to talk about one person in the big three, obviously we talked about what we missed with NECA. Candice Parker did her thing, AP Defensive Player of the Year. I don't see how she's not going to win the actual WNBA Defensive Player of the Year award. I mean, she made first team all WNBA. She's probably going to make first team all defense. She's probably going to win the WNBA Defensive Player of the Year award. And all of those things are great. But we have to talk about Chelsea Gray. And let me go to this comment to kind of set it up. So shout out to Nikki E. She is one of our loyal watchers on YouTube. Shout out to everybody who watches right now Hoops and Brews and HNB Media TV, all of the different channels that we have. But so she wants us to answer the question, what do we think happened with Gray? Was Connecticut's defense that good, or was it on her? Are these late injuries and lineup changes adding up? Or, was this just on Chelsea Gray and Connecticut just has her number? Combination of both, or what is it? I'll let you start.
I think it's a combination of both, but also like this has been happening all year. Like this hasn't been a great year from Chelsea. Like this has not. She wasn't shooting the ball well, which is one thing that was really affecting her. The fact that like you basically at points in time this year didn't even have to guard her from three, which
That's
made
true.
like her whole offense more difficult, because it's like if I ain't got to guard you with three, we can just go on to every screen and roll. We know you like to drive, but it's gonna be hard for you to drive if we just sitting under every single screen. Defensively, she has like this season. Also, I think it's just she has to realize she's coming into being a superstar in this league. So, beforehand, when people did the scouting report for the Sparks, it was probably maybe Candice and NECA. That's who you had first. Then down the way a little bit, you had Chelsea. Now, sometimes you might have Chelsea first on the scouting report. So
I think Connecticut does, because that's what they did last year in the playoffs, and that's what they did this time. And shout out to Kurt Miller, because he didn't really show the amount of pressure that he used against Chelsea Gray in the playoffs during the regular season. He kind of just let Chelsea Gray do her thing during the regular season. But when it was playoff time, they was throwing 2 and 3 bodies at her, and she just couldn't do anything about it. And it was something that just frustrated her. I mean, I asked her about it after the game, and, she just talked about how she was going to compete. But her response to another reporter was that they were just throwing bodies at her and showing her a crowd. And that's something that Chelsea Gray, she can't play through that right now. Maybe if she had Christy Tolliver, but she cannot do that by herself.
Yeah, but same thing. Now, granted, I do think that Fish and things, coaching needs to maybe help her out. Get her some different looks, put her in some places, where like she could be more effective. But every great player sees double teams.
Can I read your mind?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say it real soft. ASMR. Put Chelsea Gray in the post.
You can put her in the post, but again, every great player sees double teams. So if she's going to continue to ascend towards superstardom, she has to learn how to deal with double teams.
Elena Beard is probably the closest non-spark to her. I think the closest spark to her is Candice Parker. And then Elena Beard, like, they are friends for life. And Elena Beard was on a pregame show, and she talked about how she believes that it was on Chelsea Gray that she had to step up, and that she thought Chelsea Gray still has the potential. And this was before the game. She said, I believe Chelsea Gray will win multiple MVPs in the WNBA. Elena Beard still has that. Christy Tolliver, when she was at the halftime show on ESPN2, she talked about how Chelsea Gray just had to step up. So, I mean, she's got people that are talking to her about it. She has people that she can lean on to get there, but like, it has to start with her.
She does. To me, when I was watching, I'm like, yo, they shouldn't be able to take you out the game like they did. Not granted. Obviously, she may have been dealing with whatever she was dealing with, but same time,
You're out there.
She out there. She been balling the past couple of weeks too as well. Like, she picked up midway through the season about like a week and a half ago. She started balling. Like, ever since they announced that partnership, she was out there balling. So she wasn't that hurt back then. Now maybe the condition could have gotten worse. We don't know, but she wasn't that hurt when she was doing that. So again, at some point, she has to take it upon herself to go. Again, she is a star in this league. This season wasn't, the greatest year by her, but she is a star in this league. She has to take it upon herself that you can't get taken out by like a simple trap. That can't happen. You got to do something else to make yourself effective. Something. Whether you playing defense, you get some runouts, whether you cutting off ball. Now, granted, obviously, some of that could be on coaching. Put in some different situations, some different scenarios, but you can't get taken out the game by a simple double team if you're a star. You can't do that.
And let this be known that don't let somebody tell you when you see them coming off the bus in a walking boot, oh, I'm fine. Like you don't wear walking boots for fun. You ever worn a walking boot for fun?
I have not.
So let's keep it real. So if that was the situation when the Sparks were basically in a position when, I don't know. I mean, I know it got tight towards the end of the season, and when Taya Cooper got in the starting lineup, there really was no way for Chelsea Gray to sit out or come back off the bench more. But if you know that she is in the process of maintaining something, like, I'm gonna have to put her on like Angel McCoughtry minutes. Like, just give me 20 good minutes a game, Chelsea, and we'll figure the rest of this out. Because you have to maintain her. And look where it ended up. I mean, they still lost the last 3 games. Even with her playing 35 minutes, they still lost these games.
Again, for me, it's hard to say because, I'm going to trust that the Spark staff didn't, put her out there with something that could, be career threatening or,
I'm sure it wasn't career threatening. I understand that.
Or just something that could, seriously alter her future. Maybe it was a sprain or something like that. She's got the boot on for protective things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was. Maybe they could have set it down a little bit more. Maybe not. I have no idea. But I personally don't think that the injury was what contributed to her play in this game.
Okay.
I don't think it was. I think some of it, she got to take some blame for just, not for not being able to read the defense or deal with the defense or, making better decisions, but also give Connecticut credit. Connecticut came in, they played good. They played good basketball. Like, it wasn't like, again, even, Candice said, we didn't make shots. They didn't make shots. But again, I think some of that credit goes to Connecticut's defense. They did a good job of getting the Sparks offense a little bit out of rhythm.
Look, now let's be honest about this. So now in 2015, where was Chelsea Gray playing?
Connecticut, right?
Let's figure this out. Because in 2015, an assistant coach on the LA Sparks, the year before they won the championship, was none other than Kurt Miller. So let's go through this investigation of this and let's see what Kurt Miller really knows about Chelsea Gray. Okay. Now, when did Chelsea Gray begin playing for the Sparks? She began in 2016. Okay. So they don't necessarily have an overlap per se. Okay. Other than they don't have an overlap, but he's got her number because not only does he understand how Candice works and how NECA works, obviously he understands how Chelsea Gray works. So whatever Kurt Miller knows how to do, which is essentially, I mean, they're just trapping. They're really just like, is it really that? That's what it seems like they're doing. Like, I know it's a little more than that, but it's traps, right?
Basically, it's just like, but also think about that is get her a little bit off ball. Now, granted, obviously Christie was there. Maybe you could do that, even with have Candice run point guard on the. But basically, yeah, like when she brings the ball up court and when they send the screen over, they're just getting the ball out of like her hands. And then once they get it out of her hands, I don't know, it may not make her way back to her or she gets disrupted. I don't know. But again, she has to learn how to do. It's not going nowhere. If you're gonna get back to the plate.
Okay, here. If you're watching right now, the Spark Report on YouTube, drop us a like in the comment section. Let us know what you think about this next topic. This is what I'm going to say. Do you think they might have been better to take not that this is right, because clearly they're out the playoffs, but you know how they like to break up Russ and Harden and both give them their own time on the court? Do you think they should have had like more time when it was just Chelsea by herself? Candice by herself, because clearly Candice was able to hold down the bench lineups by herself. But do you think Chelsea should have been out there by herself where it was really just all on her so it could have been more ISO?
Maybe. Maybe it's because, you don't have NECA, you don't have some of your, your like normal pieces that they didn't do that. But maybe I think it could help, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
One thing I know is that they have the whole big three. All of them are unrestricted free agents. I know that for a fact. Chelsea Gray just signed that deal, but it was that 1 year max. So obviously they could just give Chelsea Gray her same salary or a little more and be done with that. But Candice Parker and Nneka Ogwumike both are eligible and deserve raises. If anybody's going to get a max contract in the WNBA, it's going to be those two, especially Nneka Ogwumike, who helped negotiate the contracts. Let's keep it real. So,
sure.
I mean, you got some players that you basically can take their money. If you give it to Candice and NECA, it balances out. There's some players on the bench where you can do that. But like, if I am the Fishers, Michael and Derek, if you are not Chelsea, Candice, NECA, everybody else has got to come back on my roster shooting threes. That goes from Maria Vadiva and Chinea Gumake. You come back on my roster, you got to shoot threes. Because there were so many open shots they had that they just kind of keep passing the ball or they hesitate. Like, you got to shoot threes. Because think about how many great shots the New York Liberty had this year. Did they make them? No. But they were getting shots. I see what the Liberty are doing. And if they get the right players, it's going to work. You saw what the Mystics were doing, and it still worked again.
I mean, like, you could say that, but didn't the Sparks lead the league in 3-point percentage?
They didn't at the end of the season.
I
don't know. I don't know. You'd have to tell me. I don't know.
Again. Honestly, like yesterday, I just think that they just missed. Like, they got some good looks. They just missed them. Like, usually I complain about defense. Defense really wasn't bad.
No,
Ain't
defense
like
was fine.
the Sun went up there and scored like 90 points. Like,
this was the difference. This was the difference. So after the first quarter, it was 22-8. That is a 14-point difference.
It's not bad.
If my math is correct, right? 22-8. They lost the game by 14 points, 73-59. It was the first quarter.
The offense literally just failed them yesterday. Why? Yeah, it could be mental fatigue, could be fatigue from a long season, but the offense literally just failed them. Now,
that's why I asked Candice about, how do you balance between being selfless and aggressive? And it's almost like if Candice would have known the game was going to go like this, she probably would have took 25 shots.
I mean, I think that she did, but again, I think
she basically did with you if you combine the free throws and whatever.
I think she did the best she could. Like, I think she wasn't as aggressive as she needed to be. Like, I think she literally did as good of a job as she possibly could have done. Like, what's she gonna do? Go score 45?
Maybe.
But that's not the way she plays the game, though. Like,
no, it's not. It's not the way she plays the game, and that's why I always talk to her about
her to do that.
It would be, but I mean, they lost.
That's not even the best version of Candice Parker going out there and trying to get you 45 points.
No, but it'd be fun to watch.
I mean, it would, but that's just not who she did. That would be out of character.
I don't think her handles are tight enough to go out there and get 45 because she's a little loose with the dribbling sometimes because she's so tall. It's kind of a high dribble, and so she loses the ball just a little bit because the combination of the smaller size ball and Candice's hands, which are pretty large, I think that kind of throws her off. She'd probably be better with an NBA ball.
Quite possible.
Her handle would probably be better with an NBA ball because, I mean, it's not like she's dribbling a tennis ball, but, it's not necessarily the appropriate size ball for her hands.
Quite possibly. But I do want to get into one last topic. I see TPJ put it in the comments. One last topic before we because I don't want to make this too long today. So, like, before we get out of here.
We'll be back. So, I mean, there's plenty of time.
By the way, make sure all of you guys, if you watch this, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, all of that. But TPJ asks, should Coach Fisher be on the hot seat?
I saw somebody else ask that on Twitter as well. My answer to that is going to be no, because who else are you going to get that's going to be better? Because, again, in this game, I don't think they necessarily lost because of the coaches. I think they may have lost because of depth or injuries, or yes, they talked about competing and Coach Fisher gave him a great grade for the competitive spirit. But when we heard him mic'd up in the huddle, it was a little different story.
Facts. I'm like, huh?
It was a little different story. I'll just say it was it was a lot of different story. I'll be honest, it was a lot of different story.
Yeah, even when I was watching the game, I'm like, the competitive spirit. What competitive spirit? I saw it maybe now look, I will give them credit. I think late in the third and in the fourth, they tried for like 5 minutes. Then I think they realized like this ain't happening today. And it was like, well, hey, bro.
Well, I will say this. They never technically gave up.
They never gave up. But there was a different level that they kicked it to, I think, right after that conversation for like a quick second when they cut it to like 10 or 8.
Mhm.
And then like the league got back up again. It was just like, well, all right, this just not happening today.
But the fact that they weren't doing that from jump,
Exactly.
that's on the players. Like, yeah, you can say, oh, Coach Fisher needs to motivate him better and things like that. But he's not playing anymore. He can't go out there and do it. You cannot make someone do something they don't want to do, or they're not motivated to do, or they're not able to do. Like, that is just as much on them as it is him. Now, I will say that I think he should have used his rotation better towards the end of the season. There were games when Gray and Coolidge and whoever else was just sitting there on the bench, and that could have helped alleviate pressure off of NECA and Candice, and they could have played fewer minutes. And who knows if you can help NECA maintain her body better, if that would have not let this migraine and everything going on manifest. I would say he should have played deep into the bench more, especially like when you're down to 8 players, like just throw somebody in for a little bit. And he did at one game, because there was one game when Candice Parker had moved to the 3, and it was like Candice, NECA, and I think it was Shonda Gray for like 2 or 3 minutes. And so, but I don't know. That would be my criticism of him, is saying that he could have played more players.
I would say no. I don't think he's done anything fireable. I don't think he's done anything, like, even, traveling back to last year, and people was like, oh, I remember even like on the broadcast, they were like, basically they said the inexplicable benching of Candice Parker. No, it was explainable. Did we watch the same game last year? It was explainable.
It was Candice Parker.
Shanae's energy was better last year than what Candice was giving you. She needed to sit down. Now, granted, this year she's been incredible, but this year wasn't last year. In that series, she needed to sit down. Again, they got out rebounded by 27 in one game. It ain't no coaching that's gonna make you get 27 more rebounds. Only the people on the court can make you get 27 more rebounds.
Let me say this. There are several former Sparks that are now great coaches. Okay? Nikki McCray is coaching at Mississippi State. She ain't walking through that Sparks door. Delisha Milton-Jones is coaching. She's not walking through that Sparks door. Lisa Leslie, we saw her coaching the Big 3, and she's an analyst on TV now. She ain't walking through that door. They got to figure this out with Derek Fisher, because to start over now, like, they would start this whole process over again. I think they found synergy, and I think they came to an understanding this year. I think they can leave the wubble knowing that they are together and that no one is against each other and no one is holding anything against each other. But like Candice Parker said, she said, I want to be in LA. I want to stay in LA. I am loyal, but we have to be better. They just have to be a better team. Now, can you just be better just because you have Christy, Maria Vadiva, and Chinea Gumake? Sure. But you might still need something else past that.
Yeah, but even next year, that's a lot of personalities and a lot of greatness in one locker room. And
this would have been the perfect year to practice the rotation with that.
Yeah,
because all them players gonna need to play.
But even a lot of people gonna have to share. And
they shared last year.
Yeah, but there's gonna be more sharing next year.
I know,
because Candice coming off the season.
That's why you gotta. That's why you gotta pay.
NECA, Christy, Maria gotta play. She gotta play. She. At like some point in time, you're gonna have to develop her. Brittany, if they keep Brittany, like, she gotta play. Like, Brittany deserves to be out there having minutes. There's gonna be a lot of people you're gonna have to get playing time.
She's a starter. Brittany Sykes comes back. She's a starter.
Yeah, so it's just gonna be a lot of people that's gonna have to play, and you're gonna have to manage a lot. So again, like, no, I don't think that he should be fired. Do I think he should be on the hot seat? No. Again, I don't think in any league you should make any brash decision based off of this season, because
he still won 2/3. He's won after 2 seasons. He's won 2/3 of his games.
Yeah.
It's just the end games, the way those are going.
Yeah, but still, like, this season, I don't think you make any brash decisions off it. Like, you had people stuck in a bubble away from everything they've ever loved and known for like 2 months. It's a stressful situation for everybody involved. I think the fact that you even, like you said, the fact that these ladies even came on there and got through it is commendable. So I don't think you make any brash decisions off of anything. I think they just ran out of gas at the end. It's as simple as that. Why? Who knows? We can speculate forever, but I think they just ran out of gas. Injuries caught up, and they just lost the game. It is what it is. Sometimes you just lose, especially in situations like this. I mean, they got look, they had to build a health all season. Last week of the season, everybody go down with injury. Then they could get a migraine before the biggest game of the season. What you want him to do, man? Like what? Not granted, obviously, yeah. Could he have maybe put Chelsea in the post more? Maybe. Could he have maybe switched something up? Maybe. Who knows? But same time, again, like with all the threes that they was missing, ain't like they wasn't getting good looks. They were getting good looks. They were just missing them. What you want me to do about that?
And this is another example of why when you have a Candice Parker and you have a Nneka Ogwumike, you really only need 2 post players, 2 bench post players. You do not need 3 coming off the bench. They did not need Christina Nigwe, Marie Gulich, and Rashonda Gray. They needed another wing player because that would have been the depth that would have made a difference in some of those games. And they also need to make sure that if the Sparks are ever going to win a championship, while Candice Parker is still there, they are going to have to be a top 2 seed. There's no way around it. They need the double bye. They have to have the double bye.
Now,
this is really that simple. They got to have it.
I'm gonna say this last point, and then we can, begin to wrap it up. But also, now, granted, they didn't have a GM. They didn't have a standing GM this offseason. I don't know who was in charge. Now, last year you could blame it on Penny, the reason that they had all them bigs on the roster. I do think roster construction has been an issue. Like there should never be a time when you get down, you only got basically 2 guards on the roster. That shouldn't happen. You got it. This is not 2002. You have to construct your roster a little bit better. Now, who is in charge of roster construction this summer? I don't know. What is winter? I don't know. Also, you didn't know Chrissy was going to opt out. Things would look a little bit different. But again, Now I don't know who was in charge of roster construction. If he was the one who brought in all these bigs again after last year having too many bigs, I don't know.
Well, this is what they did. Chanae opted out. They replaced her with a big. Chrissy Tolliver opted out. They replaced her with a guard. But probably should have had 2 guards because you already had Gulich and Anigwe and Candice and Nneka.
You good.
And you know that if Candice is doing what she's supposed to be doing in a game like this, she's not going to come out. You know that Candice is going to play about 30 minutes a game.
Not even that. Who puts 5 bigs on the team anymore? Who does that?
WNBA teams do that. Imagine, now I know that Marina Mabry's, and she was your most improved player, but I know that her ascension had a lot to do with being comfortable with one of her best friends, Arike Ogunbowale. But imagine a matured Marina coming in and helping out when they needed some wing.
She wouldn't have got the opportunities that she needed. Like, she wouldn't have got the ball handling responsibility that she needed to be successful, I don't think, with the Sparks this year.
You're right. But so imagine another player. I don't know who that player is, but if I'm them, and see, that's the thing. Christina Nigwe showed you enough where she could make the roster next year, but then she would be the 5th big, and you'd be back in the same situation. Because when you need the versatility, because that's the thing in the WNBA, you can play with 1 big on the court now. You don't have to play with 2. You can play with 1 big on the court now. That has been proven. So the versatility trends towards the wing and the guards. So they got to make some tough decisions because they have 4 bona fide WNBA bigs right now. Do you go with a 5th or do you go with more versatility with a wing or a guard? Imagine if they had 3-point guards, which, I mean, they technically will next year, if things go the way they want them to. But yeah, so the season ends 3rd place again, which if you just look at the 3rd place in the regular season, you got to be satisfied with that. But you definitely cannot be satisfied with going out in the 2nd round of the playoffs, losing to the Connecticut Sun, a team that you had already beat 2 times. You lost to them once, and now they're going forward. Congratulations to them as they go ahead and play the Aces. And then also congratulations to the Lynx. And then the Lynx playing the Storm. So I'll be anxious to see how the rest of the season shakes out, because like I think the Sparks can learn from the way these Final Four teams go through the playoffs. Like they should be watching these too. They shouldn't just be at home chilling, doing whatever. I know Fisher will be watching. Like I know they want to tap out for a little bit, but that's what the Friday and Saturday is for. Like they need to get back in this, watch this out, and not necessarily to make yourself feel bad, but to see what these championship level teams are doing. Because in theory, they know what to do, but in application, they haven't done it since 2017 when they made the finals and they lost in the finals. They haven't won one since 2016. Candice Parker is about to go into her 14th year with one WNBA championship.
They definitely got their work cut out for them. I'll be interested to see how the offseason goes. I'll be interested to see them next year. I think next year is a really big year for them. Again, like I said, I'm excusing things that happened this year because this year was in every sport and in every league, because this year is an unprecedented year, really in modern human history. So I'm excusing everything that happens in sports this year because, again, it was a very unprecedented year. But next year, when things hopefully are a little bit more back to normal, I think it'll be a big year for them.
I'll just put this out there right now to wrap up. Don't be surprised if some of them do another 1-year contract and maybe they invite another one of their super friends over here. Maybe they just overwhelm the league with even more talent, because talent is never really the problem or the issue for them, but maybe they overwhelm with somebody that we're not even thinking about being on the Sparks. Maybe they got something else up their sleeve because nobody saw Simone Augustus coming. Maybe they get somebody else that is obviously younger than her, but of that pedigree. So, like you said, we'll see. But thank you so much for watching the Spark Report. You can check out my articles on winsider.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at John W. Davis, where I'm sharing all things Sparks with you. Pavy, are we still going to get a WNBA reference in Songs About Women?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it happen. I actually got a line I could throw in.
Can we get a preview?
No, but something about Atlanta, because Dream.
Okay. Something about Atlanta with Dream. I'll take that as a preview.
Atlanta with Dream.
All right. Thank you so much for watching the Spark Report. Peace.
All right.